Blaine and Bryce are going to present 3DXtremes.
All right, guys. Good morning. My name is Blaine Taylor, and I'm the founder and CEO of 3DXtremes LLC.
And I'm Bryce Cahoon. I'm the leader of design and modeling.
So 3DXtremes is a modern manufacturing company that helps individuals and organizations go from a napkin sketch idea to a real product for a fraction of the cost and time. But back in 2014, while I was a junior in high school, I had a product idea and I wanted to have a prototype made. I did like most people do now, and I got on Google and tried to find a service that could help me. As soon as I did that, I quickly found multiple problems with the prototyping service industry. So those problems included prototyping overall is just a long, expensive, and often confusing process. And if you did receive a quote from the company that you tried to contact, you didn't know if you were being given a good deal or if you were being overcharged. An even bigger issue was that if your idea was complex in any way, if all you had to communicate was via email or phone, it was sometimes hard to make sure the company understood what you were going for. And another problem I saw was that 3D printing was not being used very aggressively or efficiently by these prototyping services. So I began to look for a business that was out there that really offered solutions to these problems. I wanted to find a company that offered a simplified process and quoting structure. I wanted to see them offer affordable in-house creation processes so I could actually afford to bring my product to life. I wanted them to possibly be able to offer face-to-face meetings for me to be able to explain that idea a little bit easier. And I wanted to see them use 3D printing technology to their advantage as well as mine, because I knew how affordable it was. So after searching around and not being able to find a company that had solutions to those problems, I ended up founding a business that did so myself. And I titled it 3DXtremes, and we founded it in 2015. So currently at 3DXtremes, we offer a number of services which make up our umbrella service, which is prototyping. Those individual services are 3D modeling, 3D printing, reverse molding and casting, vinyl decal manufacturing, hydrographic application, and sublimation printing. So to better explain what a customer really experiences when they go through or become a client of 3DXtremes, I wanted to run you guys through a real quick scenario. So say hello to Joe. Of course, he's from Virginia Beach. So he's the average Joe, of course. So Joe has a product idea, like a lot of individuals out there. And he's going to get on Google, just like most of us do. He's going to try to find a service that can help him. In this case, he's going to actually Google and find 3DXtremes popping up due to AdWords and SEO, this, that, and the other. After going to our website, he's going to run into our live chat feature, which most prototyping companies don't offer. And he's going to be able to immediately chat with us where we can capture his email, he can explain what his product is and what kind of service he's looking for, and we can set up an initial meeting with Joe. We're going to be able to sit down actually here at the Strome Entrepreneurial Center where we meet with most of our clients, and Joe's going to be able to explain kind of just his very simplistic project, his napkin sketch, or if he has a complex project. That's going to be day one. Once we understand what he needs and Bryce understands what needs to be modeled, we're going to be able to suggest a prototyping package to him. For this example, we'll say Joe goes with gold. After understanding what Joe needs and after he pays to get started, Bryce is actually going to sit down on the computer and create those 3D models that are necessary of that part. After that, he's going to create some renderings that we can show to Joe, whether it's in person or send him a link that he can play around with online. Once he inspects that part, he'll either go, let's make some changes here and there, which Bryce would do, or he'll give us a thumbs up and we'll move into the actual 3D printing process. We have a number of 3D printers that we use for in-house production. So you can see a part that's been printed here, which would be Joe's project, very simple window. So that's going to be on day 9. The next step is maybe Joe's very happy with his project and he goes, okay, I want to make 50 of these. I want to put them in the market. I want to get some real consumer feedback, maybe put it in front of investors and show how this thing works. And in order to do that most efficiently and at a very affordable cost to Joe, we're actually going to use a reverse molding and casting method. This allows us to make those 50 units much more rapidly than just using 3D printing technology. And on top of that, the products are going to be made of a much better in-use material and have a better overall look and finish. So when everything's said and done, Joe's going to have spent 21 days on his project, which is pretty quick. And he's going to receive some 3D renderings, a blueprint layout of his project, some 3D printed versions, the casted parts, in this case 50. And he's going to have those 3D models that are necessary to move towards manufacturing down the road, such as injection molding. So at this point, Joe's not so average anymore, right? He's got something. So how much did Joe spend on this project? Well, in total, he spent about $3,250 with 3DXtremes. Here you can see a breakdown of those charges a little bit. Now, how much do we make off Joe? That's a pretty important factor to look at. Our average gross profit margin on a job is 87%. That equates to about $2,828 in gross revenue that we receive from each client each month. Now, we want to know how many Joes are out there, because we already know how much we make on each one of them. So if we look at the rapid prototyping industry, it really explains what the capability is of scale and how this fits into the market. It's about a $4 billion annual revenue when you look at rapid prototyping and additive manufacturing in the year 2015, with an expected annual growth rate of 9.1% from 2017 to 2022. For market validation, we look at utility patents. We understand that this isn't the perfect metric, but it does show us where innovation is. And keep in mind that only about 50% of our clients even have a patent before they come to us. So you can see kind of a breakdown of where innovation is in regards to the US, Virginia, and Hampton Roads areas. So right now, this is kind of a little bit of a layout of where our competition is, and they come from different backgrounds. The one that I do want to touch on is Spark Innovation, Spark Engineering, that's in Richmond, Virginia. We actually did a little bit of espionage the other week and sent them an average Joe project, see how much they would charge us. They gave us a quote of $2,250 for a project that we would have done for $750. So you can really see a big cost difference there. So here's the team. Of course, Blade, once again, I'm a business major. I handle sales, financials, production, and business development for 3DXtremes. Bryce is an engineering major, so we have that kind of good balance that you kind of see all the time. And he's in charge of the modeling, design, production, and helps out with business development as well. So growth strategy. I know I'm flying through this thing, but let's talk about where do we go from here, right? So we have two different options. We continue to grow organically like we have today, or we immediately raise capital. If we immediately raise capital, that would allow for us to go ahead and purchase new machinery that would expand our capability, be able to hire a part-time production assistant to help out with that as well, and we'd be able to increase our marketing and advertising and refine our website and prototyping process so that those new customers that we reach out to are not just in the Hampton Roads area, but all across the U.S., but we give them the same experience. To do that, we'd be looking to raise about $109,000 with a pretty good return on investment, which we can talk about in Q&A a little bit. So thank you so much. I know that was a quick run through. We can answer any questions you have. Here's a little bit of our contact information. Once again, 3DXtremes, where we help turn napkin sketches into real products. Thank you.
All right, so I'm a little disappointed that we weren't issued 3D glasses. Big 3D graphics. That would have literally popped.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, if that's the name of the company, I mean, why not? That would be the coolest thing.
That would actually be a pretty cool thing to do. Yes.
You had mentioned ideally you just want to grow this company. You had also mentioned in the beginning you value face-to-face interaction. As you plan to grow it, what people in other states, in other countries, how do you plan to offer that to service?
Perfect question. That is one of the solutions that we have come to discover is an easy solution and no one's doing it. Same with the live chat feature. I don't know how to code. I somehow pulled that off and putting that in the website. That has made the biggest difference. Now what we want to do is do the same simplistic approach with being able to simply Skype with customers that are from anywhere. Most prototyping companies will not offer you that. It's phone or email. They're stuck in their ways. They're older companies. They have tons of experience and reputation, but they're not adapting. That's the problem. So that's what we want to do is build a system like that and integrate it into our website.
Why do you think they're not adapting? Don't they see the market size?
Well, they see the market size of 3D printing as well, and they still try to outsource that. Actually, Spark Engineering, once again, they said, oh, you know, to print your one part and you only get one of them, it'd be $150. But if you send that off to a company like Shapeways, it'd only be about $30 to $40. That's what they were telling me on the phone. They were sending away work. That's because they don't want to bring that technology in-house because they want to continue to do what they're good at and not so much worry about adapting. Yes?
The question I got to feedback on that, you know, the messaging going back and forth, it's like, who's managing that 24/7?
So the way we built it, we are students, so we had that in mind when we first built this. If you went to our website right now and actually typed in something, I'd get the notification on my phone. And sorry to professors in the room, but if I get a contact on the website, I'm going to type and be responding. But most of the time, you know, walking across campus or I'm on the way here to get some other projects started, I'm able to immediately respond with you. If I sit down at my computer, it knows where I'm at. It's not going to send those notifications anymore, and I'm going to start messaging you on the
But that's
computer.
the single point of failure right
Right.
now.
Okay.
It's right there. It's a glaring. It's really, you built your marketing on that. It's extremely unique. Commend you on that. But you just set up a single point of failure. Because once the customer has a bad experience, you got tied up in an exam for 3 hours.
Yes.
And
Yep.
So,
Well,
it's
that-
now to start thinking about how you're gonna outsource.
I agree with you. We definitely have to. We actually have some things set up immediately. So if you send anything through the live chat, it's gonna a bot is gonna collect your email. It's gonna look like me. It's gonna say, hey, just in case we get disconnected, I want to go ahead and get your email. That allows for me to at least get back in contact with you. If you compare this process to other companies, it takes 2 to 3 days to get a quote or even sometimes a response from them.
No, totally agree with you, but you set your own standard.
Yes, exactly. And we do want to grow capability on that. Bringing in someone else, such as a production manager, would assist. And I'm actually a senior, so I don't have too much longer before I'm hoping to be doing this thing full time. So,
But Saturday night, I'm sitting at home being productive and doing stuff,
yes.
you know, and then I start pinging you, and you're out there doing shots. You know, and I don't want to be speaking to a bot, because, you know, there's plenty of bots on the internet. You're just telling me I get to speak to a real human, but I'm going to be that.
Yes, I'll be there, I promise. To this day, I promise you, I've never missed a live
But you're
chat.
not gonna be, again, we're beating you up on that.
Yeah, that's fine. There is more capability for that getting better. That's the real good thing.
I mean,
Yes.
you showed in your growth the two different models, to grow organically or to get investment. And what they're really saying is that it's probably best for you to kind of continue this work until you get some investment, to be able to, because you are making a commitment to your business model is your commitment to
Yes.
customer service, being spontaneous to your customers. That's a whole really well done and well thought out. But you got to perform. I mean, so that's what they're basically saying. So I mean, for me, it's Plan B would be your best thing because you've got a really great idea here. From my point of view, and I think you will get investment, but I think some of that needs to be in customer service.
Yeah.
People that
I agree. We definitely want to expand on that area. Yeah, we actually did have some people on board. We want to bring that back in. The first thing we wanted to do though was get ourselves structured, really define where we wanted to take this thing for Bryce and I, and then look towards who else can help us with this. Now, to touch on a little bit of what you said as far as this being a good idea and things like that and investment. We have been running for about 2 years. The first year alone, we only did about $10,000 in revenue, which isn't much. But you can really see the amount of scale and growth we've had of redefining the system and these new offerings. Because in all of last year, only 10,000. This month alone, we've had about 14,000 in sales. So,
good.
A lot of scale and growth. Yes.
How do you find customers?
So right now, we only actually put about $78 on average a month in advertising. That's it. We're actually working with a firm right now to actually venture out a little bit better and build a little bit more of a brand. But right now, it's focused only on SEO, optimization, month in and month out, make sure we're tweaking things as the market demands, and Google AdWords campaigns. So we don't even do a lot of social media yet. There's a lot of room for additional advertising to come in. So now we have the budget to do it. It's the fun part. Yes?
As part of your cost, are you including your time?
Yes. So for every financial analysis and thing that we've ran, it's included us actually being paid as full-time employees. So we haven't left anything out. Rent, insurance, all of everything. Yeah.
Educate me on the 3D part of this because I'm ignorant.
So the
Completely
3D,
ignorant. Hold on.
3D printing?
What is it that you're providing? Are you providing something like your example where it's some little plastic kind of concept kind of thing, or are these working models when they're all said and done?
So it's a little bit of both. It depends on what the customer's budget is, what package they would like, and where they're trying to take this thing. If someone has a simplistic product that they want to try to put on Kickstarter, do a little bit of crowdfunding, you kind of want that product to look good. Or if you're trying to bring it to angel investors or family and friends who might invest. So in that case, we would offer our highest package that allows for you to shift some of that monetary fund up front towards the molding and casting. That allows for the better material, the better look, and really get you as close to a final product as you can get without dropping $400,000 on a CNC mold over in China.
Something like electronics that has electronics.
Yes.
You're not doing any of that kind of
We
stuff.
don't do any electrical engineering of that sort yet. We do have a little bit of demand for that, so that is something down the road that we could potentially grow into, as well as some of the marketing aspects when people are looking for how do I go from idea to market, not necessarily idea to prototype. Right now, we're still in the prototype area. We have room for growth into injection molding down the road, CNC manufacturing. The problem is that we wanted to focus on what's the best way to offer affordable in-house creation processes right now. And if you go to a company that offers metal manufacturing and you don't need it, they are still charging you something for that to cover their bottom line. So we had that in mind when we first started.
We have a Facebook Live question. What if someone wants to have a PCB board made?
We don't do any manufacturing of PCB boards. We don't do any electrical engineering. The most we do that's close to electronics is creating housing structures for when they're being used for electronics to ensure that things that aren't supposed to be touched aren't touched, or things can be mounted in specific places for like Raspberry Pi projects or security camera systems, things of that nature.
So I assume right now you have your own 3D printers, or are you using?
Yeah, we actually want to invite you guys after to view the shared working space across the hall. We usually only use about 6 of our 3D printers consistently, but we have 11 that we.
Are yours or?
We own it all. Yes, we've grown organically.
MakerBox?
No, no, we have a bad reputation with those. But we actually have a multitude of different systems. They're all FDM process, which means pulling in kind of that wire-looking material if you've ever seen 3D printers, and depositing that to build your model. That's the most cost-efficient 3D printing system that's out. We have a multitude of brands and types to alleviate need for different quality levels, basically. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah, $109,000 buying 3D printers.
No, we actually have the most. We'd be buying one 3D printer, but it would be a different type. So we actually have a lot of demand coming out for more high, very small, intricate parts. For that, we want SLA, which is stereolithography, which uses a resin tank, like liquid polymer.
How big of a platform? I have one.
An SLA printer?
I have multiple.
Yeah, we're just looking to start out with getting one. If we have enough demand for it, we're making enough profit to be able to kind of organically do that. But it would just be a small build volume, probably just like a Form 2 from Form Labs. It's only about $6,000, so it's not too bad. That's why if we grow organically, we can afford that ourselves. The big money for the $109,000 is to pull on a production assistant, which expands our capability, build a better process like the video chat, so that we're no longer restricted to Hampton Roads anymore, but instead are reaching out to Virginia and the rest of the United States. We have a client right now that's from Georgia. All we do right now is on the phone and email. We're like, we specified this is a problem. How do we make it better? And it's doing that live chat. That's what we want to expand to. Yes.
So with 3D printers, the Virginia libraries have 3D printers right now. But what's your service that is more than 3D printing?
So
because people are starting to buy those.
If you know how to 3D model and you know how to go through the prototyping process, then having access to a 3D printer is all you need to get that plastic version. What we do is we expand on capability by taking you from that napkin sketch. You don't know how to 3D model, all you have is an idea, you know the aesthetics, you know the functionality that you want. We take you from that point A to point Z in prototyping. We go through multiple revisions of creating models. And once you have that correct 3D printed version completed, we offer the molding and casting for you to really have that final in-use product in a real material that you need to put in front of your investors or install if it has an actual use.
And follow-up questions like you have an engineering team. Most of the people cannot create a 3D models. I think that's where you are gonna make a difference for the people.
Yes.
And
exactly.
that experience, because they are gonna try and SketchUp, they are gonna try a couple software that's online. They are not gonna succeed, and that's when you have to focus your presentation in creating the models and giving the manufacturing drawings and etc.
Yep. I agree. Down the road, we actually want to move into offering product development, which is very different than 3D modeling. Product development is the process of actually looking at what's the best in-use material, how do we change the aesthetics to fit what the market is demanding right now, how do we look at packaging, how's this going to fit on a retail shelf, things like that. Those are areas of capability that we want to be able to expand into that focus more on 3D modeling and development.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, you can help them with market validation of their products. Somehow.
Exactly.
And, that's the next step. These guys have an idea, but it's very not going to work in the market as is. So it's going to require some kind of market validation and some modification of the design. And it would seem like you need to hang on to your customers a little bit longer to help them get their products into the market, so they can pay you more to improve the product.
Definitely, yeah, recurring revenue from the customer stream. Yeah. We do work with individuals and organizations. So organizations such as Geodesics, they're actually located in Chesapeake, Virginia. They actually came to us not too long ago, and they needed some parts to install the machinery, and we've worked with them multiple times. We've even worked with SB Ballard Construction Company when they needed to develop things. So working with organizations creates a new atmosphere of recurring revenue. When it comes to the customer, yes, we're mainly, or the normal consumer, sorry, we're normally focusing on creating a part that they're going to end up putting in front of an investor once they have the best looking one they can make with us, and putting it on Kickstarter. And until down the road they decide, oh, I need to come back and get some tweaks based on recommendation, that's when we're still there to say, hi, we're still here, you had a great experience, we can make those tweaks for you and get a new version put out pretty rapidly. So that's where capability is for that.
Like, for example, with my business, I make candles, scented candles, but I make them look like real life objects. So like have a strawberry shortcake that actually looks like strawberry shortcake. It looks edible. And so, a thing that I run into is that I need mold, you know, and sometimes you can't find exactly what you need or exactly the size that you need. And so right now, because my company is called Wax Magic, I want to add like little samples, like little wax samples in people's orders. And so we're working on getting me a little magic wand that I can pour wax into and cast some molds.
Yep. Yeah, it's a simple, fun job that can actually help his business. Bryce would design up that wand that he wants. We 3D print it, make sure it looks like it needs to for what he wants his customers to experience. We create a mold, and in this case, we'd actually hand over the mold so he can do the casting himself. So there's a lot of capability as far as even just giving molds off to companies that want to be doing the casting themselves for production. You know, you're talking about being able to make 100,000 units possibly, depending on size and material. It'd still take a lot longer than injection molding, but you don't have as much money up front that you have to risk or seek for investment.
That's a good question for you. How many clients do you currently work with or have worked with, and have any of those clients came back for a second round product development with you guys?
So in the first year, we didn't do a lot of prototyping to the level that we do now. We mainly only did the 3D printing aspects and the testing and the changes there. After the first year, I actually ran across Bryce actually found me, and he joined the team, changed everything. Oh, God, I didn't know how to 3D model that well. It was baby steps for me. But he came in, he was a power user, he knew how to 3D model and interpret what they were looking for. So in regards to the question, we've had a number of individuals who came in last year to get things 3D printed, and that's where a lot of that revenue came from. This year, we've had a lot more bigger jobs that went on. A solid number right now of actually prototyping jobs we have that we're working on right now across the hall is 8 clients. Those clients, since we're working on right now, they haven't had time to really come back, but we have one client actually that has multiple versions of his product, and once he saw the first one, he said, okay, I like this process, I want to go ahead and test out the other 2, show all 3 to the market and see which one they want to pull on board. Yes?
So what can One Million Cups do for you?
We would be looking for a possible strategic partnership, as well as looking to what is the best area for us to try to look towards for investment. We do want to take advantage of us having first mover advantage in this market. You can ask Nancy, we talk about this all the time. There's no one else in this area that's doing what we do as far as the price point and the capability, and not just doing metal or sheet work, or sheet metal work. So we'd be looking for help with investment so that we can grow and really dominate this area, as well as focus on how we branch out, because that's where our true scalability is.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure to follow @Strome EC to tune in next time.